Have you ever looked at your budget and thought, why is this not working?
There's a reason, but it might not be what you think.
If you're new here, this month we are walking through our own budgeting process with you, showing you exactly what's working, what's not working, what we're needing to change for quarter 2 as compared to quarter 1. And we're walking through the exact process that we take to create our budget and create our financial goals and hopefully make both of them work. But sometimes, let's be honest, this happens. You feel like you're doing all the right things. You're doing your prep work, you're sitting down, you're getting that budget down on paper, and then somewhere along the line, it starts to fall apart. And you're wondering, why is this budget just not working? Well, there are actually 4 different reasons that may be happening. And thankfully, there are some ways that you can fix each of those reasons.
In this video, we're going to focus on what to do when your budget looks great on paper, but the math isn't mathing.
Problem number 1. A lot of people think that budgeting is the silver bullet. Once you get your budget done, everything's in place, and it's just going to follow through that you're going to spend only what you intend to spend in each budget area, and you're going to save money, and you're going to reach your financial goals. But here's the problem. The budget is just numbers on a piece of paper. Yeah. And people treat it as though it is more than that. In order for the budget to work, you can't set it and forget it. You need to follow through.
Plans don't create solutions. Systems do.
Let me give you an example. I love spreadsheets.
Yes.
I love columns of numbers. I love to color coordinate everything. I seriously do. They look so pretty when they're done. And here's the problem with that, because sometimes I create the spreadsheet just for the thrill of creating the spreadsheet. It makes me feel like I have done something productive. And in some ways it is, right? Because we've looked through the possibilities. We have figured out what the parameters are for spending or whatever that spreadsheet is for. But the spreadsheet will never serve its purpose if I don't use it.
Right. So the main thing about having the spreadsheet, that's good. It's good to plan. It's good to be organized with your plans. But you have to follow through with those plans, and you have to make them work by your own efforts. Here's kind of what happens. Real life gets in the way. And even though you have all those plans, you forget to check your spreadsheet. And then just off the top, you start making solutions happen that aren't in your budget at all. You say, well, we're just going to put some more money toward this or do that. But there's really nothing that's been in the plans for you to correct it, having looked at all of your numbers.
Have you ever had this situation? Because we have. So if you have too, tell us in the comments. I've had that situation. The situation is that something comes up, let's say in the middle of the month, and you look at your partner or your spouse, or you look at yourself and say, you know what? I'm just going to fix it later.
Yeah.
I'm just going to readjust later. I'm going to spend the money now, knowing in my heart of hearts that I am overspending what I intended to spend, but I feel like I need to right now. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to figure out how to fix it later. You kind of know that you're not following through with the plan, but you spend the money anyway.
So procrastination doesn't really help you. It just puts it off into the future, and you're going to have something to deal with, whether you like it or not. You have to deal with it eventually.
It's kicking the can down the road. That is the analogy. You're just kicking that can further down the road. You need to stop. And if the money that you want to spend is not fitting into your budget, you need to stop, look at it realistically, look yourself in the eye and say, what do I need to do differently?
Right, because by this careful planning, then you'll start looking at areas that you have more money in. You can move those down into the area that has the deficit without affecting your budget in a negative way.
You got that budget all made. It's pretty on paper. It looks like one of my spreadsheets. It looks awesome. And you're finding that it doesn't work. There may be something else that you need to do in addition to actually have the budget.
As Hope has mentioned in some past videos, data is your friend. Data tells you exactly what's going on. It gives you a very accurate evaluation as to what your situation is. But you have to check that data. You have to look at it. You have to balance it against other categories to make sure that that data can be worked for in the future.
Numbers don't lie.
No, they don't.
And that's the problem with the whole kick the can down the road mentality,
Yeah.
is that eventually the numbers are going to catch up with you.
They do. Now here comes one of my favorite analogies.
Oh, Lord.
Your numbers are like your GPS on your car. Your GPS tells you where you're at, where you need to go, how long it will take you to get there, and what all the turns are that you have to take in order to get from where you're at here to where you need to be there. So that's exactly what your budget does. It's like a roadmap, but you have to be able to follow that roadmap in order for it to work.
So what do these numbers that Larry speaks of in GPS analogies, what do they tell you? They tell you how your habits are affecting your ability to live within your means. That's what those all-important numbers tell you. So you've got your budget and you're tracking your numbers, but there's a third step that you absolutely must be willing to take.
Even if you're tracking, you might be working with numbers that are incorrect.
If your budget isn't doing what you need it to do, is it because you miscalculated what you were spending in the first place? We call this guesstimating, and it happens all the time. It happens a lot like in grocery budgets. How much are you spending on groceries? We can tell you exactly what we spend on groceries, but if you're guesstimating, for the most part, you're going to guess lower than the actual amount that you are spending on groceries every month. So let's just say you have a family of 4 and you are spending $200 a week. You're spending $800 a month on groceries. And you estimate, I think I'm spending $600 a month on groceries, and that's what I'm going to put in that line item in the budget. Budgets they must be a little bit flexible, because what happens, right? And
prices change.
Right, and you have to ask yourself too, am I just buying really expensive ingredients at the grocery store? Are there ways that I can cut it back to $600? But the truth is, and we say 90 days. If for 90 days you've spent $800 and your budget says $600, then you probably, something needs to change there. And that's why tracking and those numbers are important. But the third step is you have to be willing to use those numbers to evaluate your own spending patterns, right? And you got to make sure, first of all, you're using the right numbers.
So basically what we're suggesting that you do is use the PI method. The PI method is simply, the P stands for planning. And that's what we've talked about. You're doing a good job planning. That's when you write your budget. You figure out how much in each category you need to spend, how much money is coming in, and where it's going. But you also need to implement that budget. And that means you're putting it to work. You're actually doing all the things necessary to make it work. So let's say you've planned on your grocery budget to spend, let's say, $400 a month. That means every time you go to the grocery store and buy groceries, you need to subtract that amount from the $400 and keep that in line for the next times that you go. Each time you work it by subtracting it down, and that way when you get down to near zero, you're done. You don't spend any more money on groceries, and that makes that budget work. It's a little bit hard, and it takes a little bit of effort and work on your part, but the payoff is great.
So you're planning, you're implementing, and then you're evaluating. That's the E in the PI
Oh yeah,
method.
evaluating, sorry. Yeah.
Guys, this is the method that we have used for over 3 decades to reach financial goals when we were on a low income with 4 kids. And it works very, very well. Now, if you want step-by-step instructions, we have a PI Method workbook.
Yes.
And you can grab a copy. I'm going to make sure that I leave a link for the PI Method workbook in the description of this video. So what could there possibly be left? You've planned, you've implemented, you've evaluated, you've made sure that you're using the right numbers, but don't go away, because there's one more thing that might be sidelining your ability to stick to your budget.
The next thing that can happen that could sideline you is that your income could change. Maybe they're reducing the amount of money that you make, and maybe they're reducing your hours, because these are tough times that we're in right now. So adjustments have to be made if your income has gone down.
And it could be not maybe necessarily that your income's gone down, but that prices and costs have gone up.
Yes.
So there are two different ways really that your income can shift.
Yeah.
You're making less money, or the money that you are making isn't going as far. And we
Right.
see that happening a lot right now. So what do you do when that happens? You have to be able to, once again, go back to the numbers, go back to the data, figure out where those areas of your budget are that you can shift some money around. We call that the margin areas.
Yeah.
And you're going to shift the money where you can, as you can, and you're going to cut back expenses. Now, we just did a video. In fact, the last video that we did last Monday, we showed you exactly how that shifting is taking place in our own real budget, and how the rising prices right now changed our financial goals for the second quarter of 2026. That video is right over there. It'd be great for you to watch it next.